Okay, I'd like to call our work session to order. Welcome everybody, thank everybody for being here. We'll get started with, let's see, Joe, you have anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey, I was just gonna touch base with y'all and see if it's okay. I moved a little bit of money around to purchase it's called the Guardian system. It's an inmate monitoring system. That's also a cell monitoring system that would enable the employees down there to keep computerized better checks on things, checking the inmates, scanning the inmates, checking the cells, things such as that. It does a whole host of things that I could go into, but I have money in 219 and 211. Cost about $21,000 to purchase this, but there's 13,000 in 219 that was earmarked that I haven't spent yet that I don't necessarily have to spend, and then I got the same amount in 211. I just want to make sure that if I can consolidate that over into a line item and make that purchase.
So that wouldn't affect the budget.
No, the money is
It
there.
wouldn't require, and it
Wouldn't.
wouldn't require a budget amendment.
Unless moving it to the line, out of the line items to whatever line item it's supposed to go in.
If we do a resolution, I don't know what the total was, but what your total dollar amount was, but
Cool.
it's all the same.
Yeah.
Everybody good?
Sound good? Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Billy, do you have, you or Rodney have anything?
I do.
You do?
Okay. Well, welcome back from the holidays and the snow. So this is one of the things I told y'all I would start doing to you every year, so you can kind of tell where things are sitting. Number what? So I brought it to you today. Printed that.
Thank you.
Hey, remember Christmas time? Okay. This is where you can kind of look over this, and this is where we've been discussing about the assessment collection clerk putting them together, which is going to cost us about $2,500 to do that. The reason that I'm requesting this again, this was brought up in July. This is one of the things we was running into, was having so many errors because we can't keep anybody to stay in that department because of when you get a class, they go to another job or they move up in our office. So, but this was just one of the things I just wanted to bring to you, what the office took in. Y'all can see what we took in 23. You can see what we took in 24. So that was the $4 million difference. 16.8% is usually around your part the county commission gets on that. I just wanted you to look at our budget for 23-24 was 791. The 24-25 is 810, which is just $18,000 difference, which seems to be a very good number. And one thing that y'all didn't really hear about or anything, when I renegotiated our checking account, your part off of that interest was $815,000. Rodney's office got a little over $10,000. My office got a little over $10,000. That's in our discretionary funds. So this is where we're not up here begging you guys for $500 for this and some of that. This is where some of these funds are coming from. But I just wanted to update y'all on this because we've been talking about trying to take those two positions and put them together so it wouldn't be just a huge thing to that. So,
Well done.
anybody got any questions on it?
Explain that more, putting those two together.
Putting them together. Well, what it is in our assessment department, we can't seem to keep anybody there. The lady's there, has been there 23 years. She told us 2 to 3 years last year to retire. So every time it's somebody that can move to another job for $2,500, what to do is you're moving up one grade, they're always leaving. Right now, we have one person that's been there a year. and that's a four-person department. This is why we're doing this. Brenda and myself, we sat down and we kind of discussed this to show her, the one that's in the assessment that we really was wanting to move this, how that collection done that. It worked really well. We did have a complaint one day. We got interested about a phone call. We couldn't get a phone call. We had 14 people answering the phone that day. I don't think we can handle much more, but the reason that is we're having too many errors because we can't keep a trained person in the assessment department. And this has been my complaint since we've been here trying to fix this problem, because nobody's sitting in that department. If you come in and stayed for 5 or 6 months and left, and then we got somebody else 5 or 6 months and they left. If you went down there now, there's about a stack of papers of errors that was made that we have to fix, because these people are not being able to stay trained in that department, and it's hard to do it. Actually, this year we hired somebody during the holiday season, so we kind of watched her a little bit closer than we have some of the other ones, try to keep some of this. This is why I'm trying to combine these departments to where everybody you see up on the counter will all be able to do any of this stuff.
So what is the grade of the assessment person now?
A 4,
And you want to change it to a what?
5, just one.
Just one, what happened to the other person? Once you wanted 2 the last time you were asking.
Well, it's two, well, we just hired this other one.
So it would be 2 people.
It would be 2 people, right.
Because you just said 1.
Right, well, the one for right now, we can do another one later for us, because she's just a brand new hire. We just hired her first week in December.
So basically, the combination of them, it would not upset the ones that are currently there, because like for me, I'd be interested in strictly how has their job changed? And that's where you're talking about the combination of duties.
Right.
Right.
That's where you can train all of you instead of just these 2, and then you move over to a different department. That's our problem, is they're moving, and they're moving out of assessment, because that's the lowest paid job in the office.
Would you still have any 4s inside if you
Not
moved
in that
these to 5?
department, no. Everybody would hire in as a 5, just like what Brenda was talking about then. If it-
Out of curiosity, do you have 4s as well, or did that coincide with your girls and men too,
Mine, it's been several years back, it was prior to my time. They actually you had a title clerk that did just titles only, and then you had the tag clerk that did tags, and they combined that years ago, and they're all grade 5s now. So everybody in my office is a 5.
I think that's what I was curious about, is are there 4s still, and so their job is changing?
Right. That's why we're doing to do it together. This is on the front. This is the county's part, not the state part, because I have a state and a county. This is just, we're just working on the county's part right now.
So these 2 is the only 4,
These 2 is the only one we'd have to, yeah.
and they're gonna be doing,
Assessment and
putting it
collection.
together, doing extra work. Doing 5.
They'll be doing the work of a 5. We've already moved some.
So their job description reflects that too, that you would have them as 5s, but that would do away with your 4 job description? You wouldn't have that anymore?
We would, when you hire in, you'd be assessment /
It would all be
collection.
5s?
Yep. Hopefully that's gonna stop them from moving, just because one pay grade's different in a different department. Any other questions?
What's our thoughts?
I didn't hear you.
Oh, we need to think about it further.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. So Eric, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight on the agenda, there's a flatbed chassis truck we had bid opening last week, and we got good numbers back on that. I just do want to mention for the record, the specs that came in on that were, I sent the wrong paperwork. The numbers are good, everything's right. Those are gas burners we request 1-ton gas burners, and the paperwork they sent was for diesels, kind of confused us, but all is good. So that'll be on the agenda for tonight. All is good. Their price of $51,000 is good. And that's about what we expected, and they have those in stock, which is great. Also in the agenda, the Roger Brown subdivision, the Peninsula Wilson Lake, it's on the agenda for tonight, but it needs to be pulled from the agenda tonight to be on the 27th. They actually didn't get their revisions to us until late last week, and we have to, by law, we have to send the letters out to the adjoining property owners and the utilities to give them time to know that that's coming before you guys. And so they just didn't get it in time. So we actually haven't reviewed them yet. We've reviewed those things to death, though. I feel like they're very close. I feel good enough to tell you 2 weeks. And so Roger's being very patient. He's actually going to be out of the country. He's asked his engineer, Richard Evans, to be here, and then he said he'd be available by phone. So if you guys have any questions or anything. So it is a little bit unique because this one is a privately maintained. It's large, and I hear a conversation that there may be some people show up for that. I'm not sure if they will or not. Some of the neighbors down on the lake, I think, have some commentary they'd like to share. So, anyways, well, usually when I send that letter and it says feel free to contact me or show up at the meeting, usually they'll contact me first, and so we'll see. But just know there could be some people show up for that. So.
Can we pull that now, or we need to do it in
We'll do it at the meeting. I've got it wrote on your agenda.
the meeting? Okay,
So you can pull it off.
okay.
Next thing is just a quick rundown of the snow. I thought everything went well, but not very often that we think it's going to do something and it kind of does that. So that was very nice. I can't say enough. The guys, they run to play. We asked them to run to play and they ran to play. They worked late, worked all night. We did, and I'm so proud of them for this was their idea, not mine. Because of the type of snow it was pretty easy to treat in the scale of winter events. And so for all 4 of our motor grader crews that were plowing, we would end up having 3 people operate that grader. And so, which is unheard of in a winter event. Usually you might get another guy on it, on the back end of the storm. But everything was going off so easy, we put a lot of guys on graders. And so guys got experience, and thankfully winter weather experience is hard to come by around here. So that's very valuable for us. That'll pay off in the future. So we basically ended up running 12 guys on the grader. And so it worked out really good. We've had mostly good feedback, a few concerns as you're always going to have, and we've addressed most of that stuff. But we got one little issue in Elgin we're working on, but we'll get that taken care of. Can't say enough about Mr. Holmes. Did a fantastic job. It's really a new page in communication. It was the way we should do things. I think he set the bar high. Everybody knew what was going on. We were all on the same page, and I thought Brad did a really good job. So, like I said, I can't say enough about our guys. I was really impressed with their get together, and I got to just mention Troy. Troy just really led well, and just kind of got it done. So I'm proud of the guy. Next thing I've got, our Mack trucks. We are still running our 2020, I think those are 22 model Mack trucks. We bought them in 21. We bought those back when you could buy trucks at a reasonable price. We gave $155,000 a piece for those trucks. And, now that same truck costs $235,000. And so those trucks have between 50 and 60,000 miles. We've replaced them with our Kenworths, and we've been waiting for this March J.M. Wood sale. And J.M. Wood was up last week. We met with those guys, and they're excited, and they tell me that those trucks will be the belle of the ball. So that's a pretty sought after truck right now. They think it's really going to be in the sweet spot for selling it. They will give us a guaranteed price in the next week or so. So they'll give us a contract that says we'll pay you this no matter what it brings, which is outstanding. I don't think that's something we need to worry about. I feel like they're going to do really good. But this March sale is the best time to sell dump trucks. They've had a sale since we've had these trucks that we could have sold, but I still think we made the right call to wait and just sit on to March. It's actually worked out good. We've utilized them more than we thought we would. So to get those ready for that March sale, I'll get Brenda. We're getting all the VIN numbers and stuff ready. We'll get those ready to surplus, so we can get that going before that March sale. Part of the deal with J.M. Wood is they will come get them. That was a big deal for me. That's part of the reason I never used them in the past is, it's a pretty big deal to, our guys don't drive on the interstate. It's just not what we do. And so it's different. And so it was a really big deal for me for they agreed to come get them and take them there for us. And so that just clears up a lot of logistical stuff that would have been a headache. So, next thing I've got, we've discussed this briefly before, but it's something that I'd like for, I guess, y'all's blessing to proceed with. If you recall, we've had conversations about that new development coming in Huntsville Road and Florence Boulevard, which would realign the signal, the existing signal at Huntsville Road and Florence Boulevard. When we met on that, within the last month, AlDOT knows that they're the ones that kind of messed up our county roads on the north side of Florence Boulevard there, behind Lackey's. We have 2 dirt roads in there that are just there. They're just in there. And their access is what it is with the current situation, and there being a red light. But with the new red light coming in, the best thing for the future is for that existing red light to go away. And so I think there's a couple different ways to go about that, but AlDOT highly suggested to us for us to come up with an idea and submit it as an HR2 project, which would mean that basically we could get out of it for the cost of engineering. And so I thought that was a pretty good idea. So my mind immediately went to Mr. Blair Perry. If y'all remember him, Blair was the one that actually did all the work he works for Gresham Smith out of Birmingham. He did all the work for Doug Parker years ago when they looked at all that. So he's got a full design of that intersection already. I know Blair. Blair's probably top 3 traffic engineers in the state. He's very well respected. Thought I'd talk to Blair this morning and just kind of spitball with him about possibilities of what we can do. I would like to meet with him and just kind of see what he could come up with. I think I've sketched something up. This is very elementary and just kind of rough. So the red is the existing, and this is our existing dirt roads here. This, on this side of 72, would be the new aligned Huntsville Road. This would be the new aligned, this part would go away. One thing I think we should consider, and we would have to have the blessing, of course, of this property owner, and this would be something we would do in conjunction with him. But the possibility of after this new red light is built, maybe an HR2 project that built some of this infrastructure that connected this in. That would clean up all this. I think these property owners up here would be very welcome to this, because it would be a lot better than what they have now. Plus, it would make it really almost fall under economic development. You'd be creating some very good road frontage. You could do it, it'd be a really safe roadway. A lot of good safety issues from the transportation side compared to what we have now. So
Would that pick up the church as well?
it would. Because the road dead ends at the church. So, and we could improve this road as well. But it would take some new infrastructure. It didn't have to look like this. I just drew some straight lines on paper. But
Eric, why would this part here still be needed? How is this feeding, where is this feeding from?
the back of it. So it would still allow this back access to these.
Be more.
So it's just for that then? Oh, I got you. Okay.
This development right here, having a drive-through, really complicates things.
Yeah. I got you.
This drive-through right here, because they really wanted to just close this off. But you got, their only access is that drive-through. So it's just tricky. It's just tricky. So, and nothing's set in stone. There's nothing, whatever. I think it would be, we would be on the front end of things. Just if I sit down and talk with Blair and just kind of see what he thinks is available. He spent a lot of time and effort on this intersection. I mean, he's already way ahead of the game because they did so much work on that years ago.
Is this dude Todd Sullivan too? Have y'all talked about this?
I haven't. It's all county.
Okay.
It's all county.
But I thought, some of this has been in some discussion a little bit right before, the backside back here.
Yes, and you're right, there is a little piece that's in the city. Yeah,
Okay.
it's in all city.
Is that coming there? Are they coming?
Which one? The
Right.
development? the development on the south side, I feel pretty confident. I would expect pretty soon, honestly.
It seems like they would want that backside, some of this, right? The city would want to maintain some of that if that happens.
Well, yeah, this is kind of one of those, if you build it, they'll come. I mean, that's the good news for us on this. We can be on the front end to make sure that it takes care of this infrastructure for us, but the minute it develops, it's not ours.
Okay.
So we get out, we get out pretty easy. We get to, you know, kind of make sure our stuff gets taken care of, and then we can get out.
Gotcha.
And I can talk with the city and see what their thoughts on it are. I just kind of want to get that in front of y'all. If y'all are okay with me meeting with Blair, just let me know, and I can set something up in the next couple of weeks, and just, he and I can kind of spitball, and then we'll come up with something.
That's good.
Next thing I've got, I was contacted last week by the lady that owns, if you'll recall, that we bought that Elgin property in the last 24 months. It's been a home run for us. I'll tell you, this weekend, that's where we stockpiled calcium chloride. So we had material there. So like those Rogersville crews, Blacksville crews, they didn't have to come all the way to town. They would go there. We haul material, dump material. We've done a lot of stuff there. It's been good for us to take off for that. And we've got budgeted $30,000 to build a shed out there just for some dry storage. The lady that owns the car wash building, which is a little shop that used to be attached to this building, they chopped it off. They're fixing to sell that. It's fixing to go on the market. So she called to let me know they're going to sell it. I know in the future we've talked about doing like a solid waste facility there. This little building already has a septic tank, has a bathroom, it has a well that they ran that car wash on, which kind of blew my mind. But that's a pretty good well. So for what they're asking for it, I just thought I should bring it up for any of y'all. We should consider that. I mean, I think it would definitely be advantageous for us if we, in the future, as we proceed. I mean, you know, we're already talking about having to put porta potties out there anyways for the employees that stay there every day. But especially if we do a solid waste facility, it's going to need, we're going to need water and bathrooms. And so this would go in and take care of that, and also give us some dry storage as well. There's actually it used to be a little garage. She said it had a pit, and they filled that in. But I just want to run that past y'all because I think it's a pretty good opportunity for us. And if that's something y'all wanted to do, like I said, we've got that $30,000 budget in our budget for that dry storage. If y'all want to put that toward that, that'd be fine, and we could talk about that other storage later. But to me, this would be more valuable. This building would be more valuable than dry storage out there right now, because we would still get some dry storage out of it. Like that calcium chloride, we'd have been able to keep in a garage compared to under a bunch of tarps. You know, the guy's gonna just go and get it there, and then also have a place to use the bathroom and wash their hands and stuff like that. So I think it's something we should look at.
Could you send us text us a outline of that
I will.
and cost, that sort of thing?
Only other thing I've got, you all got an email from Mr. Beavis over the weekend, Cal Beavis, over the property at Fort Kenner 153. It's an interesting one. I don't know if y'all are familiar with where that is. That's what, in Lexington, that's what we call the rock crusher down there. So if you want to know where the hospitals used to fight, it's always down there. But so, in other words, there's been mischief going on down there since for a long time. But it's just it's a dirt road, intersection of two dirt roads. Second Creek crosses right there. There's another little creek that comes through, and this story starts in 1999 when we built the bridge on nearby County Road 59. And there was a pony truss bridge there, which is an old style bridge. Well, there was a pony truss bridge on 59, and there was a pony truss bridge on 153. And the records show that in 1999, the state said, all right, we'll let you build your new fancy concrete bridge on 159, but you've got to leave that bridge on 153, which we said, who cares? It was just an old bridge on a dirt road, we didn't care. So the Historic Preservation Society we had to keep the bridge. Well, in 2009, that bridge became structurally unsound. Outback came in, the emergency team deemed it unsafe, we had to close it. So that bridge has been closed since 2009. Well, as most good old boys are gonna do, they found another way. So they just started driving around. Everybody drives around. Like it's kind of just a little sway there. And so it's really just kind of become part of the travel. We don't maintain it. We never touch it. We still maintain the road on the other side, maintain the road on this side. But as far as the crossing, we don't touch it. So, I think Mr. Davis is having some mischief and some stuff going on, and I get that, and I respect that. My advice would be, if we want to do something about this, that we get with him, vacate that section of roadway, and then let him restrict access. My concern is, if we try to put up guardrails, you know, you're gonna have to guardrail a quarter mile. I mean, they're just gonna go around it. Like, there's nothing out there, right? They're gonna, if there's a tree in the way, they're just gonna cut the tree and go around it. So, you know, I think probably fences and gates and somebody that, because it's just hard for us to maintain. And so, I think my thoughts is our responsibility on this would be to vacate the right of way and then let the homeowners deal with it as they see fit. So, personally, if they want to vacate that whole dirt road on the east side, I mean, I would be great with that. It's just a dead end dirt road, no houses, just crop it. But if they just want to do it with the bridge, that'd be fine too.
What does the road connect?
It goes from County Road 59 over to the other dirt road, County Road 501. There's no houses on it, it's barn. Mr. Beavis owns the majority of the property. He probably owns 65% of it. And I'd be glad, I know Mr. Beavis, I'd be glad to reach out to him if y'all like me to. These are always tricky.
Do you think there'll be a ripple effect with folks? I could understand if
As far as people getting upset that we close it, there's probably some people. Yeah. But I mean,
Use it for a shortcut.
yeah. But it's, you know, we hadn't maintained it in a long time, so I mean, and if we go, honestly, I think if we went there and put guardrail, they'd just go around it and just go and then come back. You know. So that's the reason I feel like our best bet would be just to bow out and let him do it.
so they ford the creek.
Yeah, I had a person that used it for a shortcut and just put a concrete slab over their property.
Yeah. And that's a prescriptive right of way as well. So it's, I would assume that crossing probably is on private road. I mean, it being prescriptive, I would say the bridge is probably what we got. So that's where that stuff gets hairy. It's hard to, you know, we're just kind of guessing where the right of way is. But however y'all want me to proceed on that, I'd be glad to get with Mr. Beavers if you'd like to. And that's all I got, Mr. Chairman. Really, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to acknowledge Eric and Brad. I had 5 or 6 folks at church yesterday come up and were very nice and complimentary about it. But one I wanted to point out to you was Slade Sartain found me at church and just really was very complimentary to both of you guys. And he said they had no instances that they couldn't get to. It was just, they were very pleased and happy. So thank you guys for making that ambulance service.
Thank you.
Tom?
Just a couple of things. Got a couple of, the last few weeks, I've been trying to collect some money, some bad debts. And one of them's been going on since 2021. I thought that Chris has helped me and we still don't get any outcome on it. Anita suggested it's been so long that we just go ahead and write it off and put it on, just write it off next time. So I'd like to put it on. It's from the Alabama, Georgia roll-off company. They were up here back in 21 doing some work at Southwire and Tarquette hauling to us. And I've sent them, Chris has sent them letters, I've sent them letters, I've called them, emailed them, and I get no response. Only response I got from it first was, will y'all take a credit card? And I said, no, and it's $6,000. So, you know, sometimes you just gotta give up. So, if y'all don't mind, I've still got another call in. I've called them right before I left here, just somebody might answer. So, if you see it on next time's budget on the agenda, you'll know I didn't have any luck. So,
What about the other one?
and the other one is $1,100. He's a guy at Cherokee. He's told me he was going to start making me payments of $100 a week to get paid off, but he also told me back in October he'd be here, as soon as he cut down 2 trees, he'd be here to pay me too, and I ain't heard from him. So that's another possibility we may have just write off since it's the end of the year. I told him I'm just trying to clean things up and be done with it. So, but and that's all I've got. so.
Well, I got a question, you
Okay.
and Eric, I guess, of, where this grant with Brush Creek Park, electrical and playground, and, you got another email, y'all probably got it, did you?
I haven't got
Is it
anything.
something that you can work on? I'm guessing I'm gonna need to do playground details.
Okay, I had no idea on the electrical though. I'm gonna do all that.
But Mr. Lynch did all that.
Can you get with Mr. Lentz on, it was a breakdown of, can you forward him that email? And
Yeah,
then,
I didn't get it, so.
okay, he can forward that to you, and it's a kind of a breakdown apparently of, I guess, getting the conduit ran off of the grant.
Okay,
Mr. Lentz maybe can do that,
Okay.
whatever's on that email to,
okay, I'll get it to Mr. Lynch.
yeah, we don't wanna lose that grant.
Right.
I think we've got the end of February to get it all done, but it's good to have it done in January, we could.
Yeah, I'll send it to him, you know.
It was something about this playground business too, but I can get the details of the, I call them toys. Whatever out there, slides and you name it. But I can't do all that electrical and something, I know you, Eric, you'd have to do some of it.
Yeah. I'll be glad.
Is it everything on there that y'all can do besides the playground?
I have to look back. I don't remember. I'd sent you an email a couple weeks ago that
Yeah,
had it all.
and I got him, and then he sent this new one out
Okay.
with,
I'll look back at it.
he told me he would do a better detailed job, and maybe we can work with
Yeah.
anyway. Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you that.
Okay.
All right. So, Brett?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a whole lot to add to what's already been said. Kudos, obviously, to Eric and his crews for being very responsive. We had a text group going on between myself and David Kemp's with the city, street department, and Eric. So as issues were pointing out, or being pointed out, we were able to do communication. So I hope that the communication was up to the standard that the commission would like to see. Only real problem we had was with the state. And it's not really a problem so much. They were doing what they needed to do to get the roads cleared, but on our 4-lane plus highways that did not have a median, where they were pushing all of the material to the center, a lot of the issues that we were having with the black ice or the glazing was because those roads are crowned in the middle, and so all of it was running back, versus what we were seeing on county roads is Eric and his crews were pushing them off to the side, and there was no material that was left in the crown. So the state does want to meet after this. There was some communication issues on their end, particularly with Aaliyah going to the media and telling the media that they closed all county roads down when they don't, number one, have the authority to do that in this scenario, and two, very much misspoke about that. So we'll clean some of that stuff up for the next event as it goes through. I told Eric before, or in the middle of this event, I'm almost scared that he has set an unrealistic expectation for the next one. Because,
Especially if there's a lot of ice.
yeah, especially if there's a
Don't
lot of
have
ice.
those pellets in it,
If you
we'll
look
be
at our
okay.
friends over in East Alabama are dealing with, and Georgia and whatnot, it's a whole different ballgame and scenario, but they did a phenomenal job where that was concerned. If you see any of the Jeep owners that are part of the Quad Cities Wranglers Jeep Club, do please, if you feel so inclined, thank them for their service. They did just over 100 transports throughout Lauderdale County, and that was for essential healthcare workers and then for our dialysis patients. So we had hooked up with them prior to the event and got them into a relationship with long-term care facilities as well as the hospital, and so they were invaluable. I think they took a lot of the pressure off of the deputies in having to worry with some of the stuff that we've had to deal with in the past. So we'll learn some lessons from this one and continue to move forward, but again, can't say enough about the staff at EMA and about the staff that Eric had out as well. So thank you for the opportunity to serve the county.
Brent, could you get us a couple of names of the folks at the Wrangler?
Yes, sir. Tommy Brittenell is the president of that. I will, if the commission is so inclined, I'll draft a resolution and ask the commission to consider that, to thank them, and I'll also do the same thing with the city. And then EMA is having a plaque made for them that we'll present to them at their meeting as well.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Chris?
First, I did the research as asked about open meetings and water authorities, and it plainly applies to them. So I wrote a letter to all of the water authorities, but I tried to do it, it was very informative. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them don't have legal counsel on retainer, so thinking that you wouldn't mind this, I offered to advise them on it if they don't have anybody else. And then at the end of it, I thanked them for their service. It's, you do these legal things. If you don't have a lawyer on staff or on retainer, you can fumble into illegality without even meaning to. So that hopefully is taken care of. Emailed a copy to Brenda, and Brenda will send y'all a copy of it for your records. Next is the abatement issue that I've been spending hours on. Very, very, very complicated. I'm just going to tell you where we are and then answer a couple of questions from the last work session. Mr. Sachs, or the Florence Opportunity Fund's lawyer, Michael Shipper, is supposed to get back to the IDB lawyer, Jim Stanfield, and me with proposed resolutions, something in writing agreements that deal with some very important issues, not just the request for support under 772 and the abatement statute, but specific things like, for example, under the statute itself had to be renewed by the legislature. We had no proof that that was done, so we're going to make them prove it to us in writing that we can even consider the abatement issue, which we can, and I'm sure it is, but that's dotting i's and crossing t's. There's a number of conflict of law issues that this request brings up. For example, lodging tax. It just says, give us a 50% rebate like the city's going to on lodging tax, period. The lodging tax, as you know, is also directed by law to be paid through the Tourism Act. These are called conflicts of law, and you've got to resolve those before I even bring the document anywhere near you. So what I'm going to spend more time on is the second, and I'm not going to spend any time on the third request because they haven't made one yet under this brand new Sweet Home Alabama Investment Act, which I'll come to you later to explain. Right now, that's not even on the table. So that kind of narrows it down to the big one that counties traditionally are involved in, and that's the abatement statute, where they specifically asked for a 20-year abatement under 40-9B-3. They asked for the consent of the IDB board abatement process. The law allows IDB to abate because you've appointed a representative on there. They actually operate under the auspices of the city of Florence. But they can grant for development and industrial economic development projects for 10 years without even asking. And the reason they haven't come towards you before with this kind of thing is nobody really usually ever goes over 10 years, number one. Number two, every one of these prior abatements have been in the industrial park, which were a no-brainer. So this is different in that it's not an industrial park and it's more than 10 years. And the statute itself requires the consent of county government for this type thing. Specifically, the abatement's authorized to be granted pursuant to subsection A, which is about 15 pages that I just turned through, for ad valorem taxes for a period longer than 10 years may be granted, and then it has a paragraph for municipalities, and then a paragraph by the governing body of a county with respect to the private use industrial property located in the county, but only as to county non-educational taxes. Hence the sales tax issue, which is another conflict of law issue that has to be worked through. Now, you may say industrial. This is not industrial, but the legislature broadened the definition of economic industry to include an industrial research enterprise. Also includes any tourism destination attraction. If you'll recall Mr. Sachs' commentary about the Hard Rock, they're basing it all on the musical heritage of the shows to and that gets them in under tourism and allows them to ask for these abatements. Right now, I'm waiting for that resolution and that paperwork from Mr. Shipper. When we get it, I want to meet with him and the IDB lawyer, Jim Stanfield, who's very versed in these kind of things because he's represented them for years. And he too has all these questions and has met with me twice, devoted a lot of time with me. We want to sit down with him and say, here's the paperwork, how are you addressing these issues? Specifically, the conflict of laws, lodging tax, et cetera, because we all get in a lot of trouble if this is not done correct. And that's not to say that you're going to approve it, but I can't even get it in front of you to consider for approval without these I's dotted and T's crossed. And then, once that's done, I'll bring that proposed information back to you. Now, I mentioned 772. That's the amendment that we've all come to be familiar with. The paragraph applying that they went under with the city says that the county government shall have a full and continuing power to do any of the following. Subparagraph 3, lend its credit or grant public funds and things of value in aid to any individual, firm, corporation, or business entity, private or public, for the purpose of promoting economic industrial growth area. So the city of Florence entered into about a 6-month negotiation with them, and I gave y'all at the very beginning of this, even before they came and asked, because I knew they were coming, a copy of that agreement they made with Florence to give a 50% rebate. I mentioned conflicts. In his letter to you, he asked for a similar 50% rebate for certain project direct revenues, sales, property, use, and lodging taxes. Those last two are very critical because of the conflicts question, over a 15-year period. No upfront money, but just basically give them 50% of what they generated that property, and they use 772. But then the abatement statute, they ask for a 20-year abatement on the abatement of sales, which we can't touch the sales part, the city can, and ad valorem taxes. That's property taxes. So what does he mean by that? Does he mean 50% of what we collect after we abate it? I mean, see what I'm saying? So they've got some stuff they got to clean up first before I come back. And the reason I'm spending this much time with you today is because I could go about an hour to really get into this, and I know we don't have time to do that now, but I didn't want to hit you cold with this, with a pack of paperwork about that thick. So I want you to be considering these things as we go. And then I'll keep following along with it and take it all the way to its conclusion. But there'll come a day where they want an answer out of y'all on this. The project itself, I do have a copy of the application to the IDB board. Very fascinating about projected revenues, but also projected taxes. Just FYI, the ad valorem combined tax abatement for 20 years, just ad valorem, is projected $5,564,926. That comes out to $278,000 a year combined, city, county, and valorem. So that's, when you look at it that way, it's not quite as daunting a figure. The $2,006,000 that they deal with construction costs, sales and use abatements, and that are the cost of construction. That's all city-based. That's another $2,639,000. Zero of that would be county law because it's a city project, or it's in the city. So there's where we are. And when I get that paperwork and meet with IDB, and Jim Stanfield ain't going forward because they passed a voice resolution to support this, IDB did, only with the consent of the local governments, city, county. So they're hedging, they're not, first of all, they can't go forward with 20 years without y'all, number one. Number two, they don't want to without y'all because of these complicated issues of conflict of law questions. Once I get every bit of that settled and bring it to you, I'm going to try to put it in a memo form to you, kind of like an explanation of this. I don't want you to have to try to read through that much legal gobbledygook. Because I've been doing this 35 years and this gave me a headache. So I know what it would do to y'all. So I'm going to try to put it in memorandum form so that y'all can more easily understand it and develop questions that we can move the ball down the field with.
Cliff notes is what I mean.
That's exactly what I'm going to try to do.
In layman's terms.
Well, I'll do the best I can. that's all I have. The other issues I continue to monitor and work on.
Anything else for Chris or department head? Okay, we'll let y'all go to 5 o'clock. See, Ms. Brennan?
I don't have a whole lot. The January 20th Martin Luther King Day, we're off that day. That's next Monday, the county will be closed, so it's Martin Luther King Day. It's not a meeting day.
It's coming Monday.
It's coming Monday, yes,
Oh,
the 20th. And then I've got copies of some board appointments that you guys need to do.
Gentlemen, I'd like to recommend that we appoint Todd Nix to the juvenile field phase spot. I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I assume that's going to go to the openings we have. And then this on, for the East Lauderdale Water Board, Mr. Hurston, Terry Hurston wants to stay on the board for one more term for that.
You don't have it on here, Brenda, but that Tennessee Valley Youth Services.
Yeah, that wasn't the county, that's not a board thing, that's a county appointed person, so it'd be when the commissioners have to take that board.
Right.
So,
And Todd would be willing to do that.
I don't even, I'll be ready for the next meeting if you want to.
Sure. Okay.
My team player.
Just put Todd on that. Everybody good with
They don't even have the board listed on that list, it's just one person. So anyway, there's people on that list that the board appointments we have that are, and I wanted y'all to look at them to see if you knew anybody that might be interested.
What's this synonym here, ARETA, not synonym, ARETA board?
A Rita board pick is from the list. I've got a letter for that I'm gonna give you, right here. I just had it.
All right.
This is that North Alabama, that Alabama Elk River Development, that's from, you got 3 people to choose from in that letter. If you look on that back page, it shows the 3 people that they recommended for the board. I just need y'all to decide who y'all want to put on there.
One back.
The back page of this letter, I was, when I got to it, I was gonna tell y'all about that.
These 10 commissioners, who do y'all?
And put old Chris Crumley.
You
How many we just put?
Just need one,
Yeah, Chris. I know Chris. He's a good guy.
okay? And then I sent you guys and you should have got one from ACCA yourself about this meeting in Athens. I want to say it's the 20th, but I could be
It's
wrong.
21st.
21st, okay. If you want to go, y'all have, it's on at night after 5, I think it starts at 6 o'clock. I sent you a copy of it. If y'all want me to sign y'all up for it and pay the bill, I will.
Yeah,
Y'all just need
I
to tell me
do.
who's going.
I
I've
think
already signed
we
up.
all want to do that.
So we sign y'all up? Everybody's going?
I've already signed up.
You already have, okay.
Let's see your conflict.
You will go to this.
Rob, you got Central Heat and Air. Okay.
Okay, I'll sign everybody up. Is that Roger, you're gonna go with Mr.
Yeah, I
Black?
guess.
You're gonna
Yes,
go?
ma'am.
Okay.
Black, you gonna pick me up? I won't see her all night.
I got you. Yes, sir. I'll pick you up.
I'll send you a copy.
All the way through?
We got it. That's all I got.
I've got a thing you need to be, y'all two especially need to be aware of. When the fire department agreed to pay this ASO, and the stipulation in the resolution was that they had to turn in their financial. And everybody did, except Killen, Lexington, and Rogersville last year. So last year, we paid everybody's, and we sent out a letter with, ESO gave an invoice for each department, but around $1,500 apiece. That those departments, Killen, Lexington, and Rogersville, had to pay out of their own funds, because they didn't, even though I go to all the association meetings, and even though usually, Brandon would announce it, tell them. But for some reason, they didn't do it. So if anybody from those departments that come at you, you just have to tell them, look, this is the resolution specifically states that it was announced at your association meetings, and it's, we can't pay, we said we would pay you.
Of course, they didn't submit.
They didn't submit their financials to the commission.
But that is a private company, they're gonna want their money, the county's gonna pay it if they don't.
Yeah, so, well,
I mean, you know.
Killen, Lexington, and Rogersville, I know, want to keep it, so they'll pay it.
I sent them a letter telling them they had to have it paid by the end, 31st
or
of January.
They
or
would be
else
like Green Hill, they're not,
We'll take them off the list.
yeah, I mean, and Green Hill didn't want them in it, it seemed like some other department.
And,
I
there's
forget which
two.
one it was.
What was it? Alicia's gone. It was,
I do think there was another one.
there's two on
It
that
was-
list,
it was
because they're only,
12.
they've been billing us for 14. And
They
they've
also
also
been double
billed
billing
us,
us.
they're double billing us, and I
Yeah,
tried
well,
to,
they did this time.
well, we
It
went
changed from
around.
ERS over to ESO, ESO bought them out.
That was 2 years ago. We've been paying ESO
And
for
I
the
don't know
last
how
3
they
years.
ended up, that we ended up paying.
Well, we
double pay.
signed to, according to the lady from ESO, whoever sold us this last project sold us it that way. And so we're responsible for paying it, but I'm gonna cancel it as soon as we get it paid off, so they can't do it again.
Yeah. Them
But I
ones-
I didn't have any contact with any of those people or any of the contracts. Nobody, I had nothing to do with any of that. So.
So we didn't even realize that was happening
Until I called the lady from ESO, and they were asking me, and I told her we'd send them $16,000. And she didn't even have it listed in their form.
But,
The volunteer
This
fire
should,
departments signed signed the contracts, and they're not authorized to sign contracts for the county, so I don't know who, how that all happened either.
as bad as that is, it should wake these three departments up and everybody else this year that and I think that's a law. They're supposed to give us those financials.
Well, the resolution
That's
says,
way-
but we said that from the very beginning when we wrote that, but we never made them, we always ended up paying the bill because nobody ever did all of them. And y'all just said, go ahead and pay
Well, they
it, so
did
we
one
did.
the first year, but they kind of got straight getting slack. Now, the way ESO send it out, it's individual departments. So,
Well, hopefully I'm gonna get that straightened out in the next 2 weeks, or should be able to. But we may still end up having, if those three departments don't pay, we will have to pay, because those private companies don't take resolutions saying we won't pay, like that.
well, or they can be outright renewed.
I know, but we're paying for last year.
Oh,
I will take
Anyway.
them out, so.
okay. I think they'll take care of it.
I'll let
That
y'all
was-
know.
that was the
as soon
only
as-
thing I had.
That's only a couple of
Anybody
weeks.
else got it?
Yeah, y'all, we got, gonna talk to y'all about that grant. We've got a grant for $1 million, or proposed grant. I think we're getting it from ADECA, about the equipment. We got a local match, so we're willing to match $1 million locally. The guy's charging $30,000 to write the grant, which would be at our expense. We can't take that out of the grant. Are y'all okay with that?
Like I say, what do we'll get the $1 million for the, we'll get two, and pay just $30,000? Yeah.
And the other organization offered to be the grant applicant if we wanted them to be. I don't know that it matters. Y'all wanna do it? I'll have that guy to call us next week and put him in touch with Brenda. I will need a resolution, and there was some other little something we needed. But I've got the equipment list together. I'll bring it to y'all next time.
What are we talking about? Event center, workforce development center, or?
Is that through ADECA?
Yeah. Yeah, once his name come on, he said, yeah.
Boswell?
Yeah, and y'all match.
Great.
It had to be related to EV and aviation. And of course, all of industrial maintenance, is a component, and we're gonna do some aluminum welding for EV and
working on aviation, there's some toolboxes in there, but I don't know anything about that, so we gotta get somebody. FedEx had offered, FedEx hadn't offered, a guy that retired from FedEx, and you probably know him, Joe, I can't think of his name. He said he's pretty sure FedEx would give us a couple of jet engines, power, to work on powertrain. Probably give us a plane if we wanted it, but where is it gonna work with a plane? So we'll probably just do powertrain. The turbines.
Is that part of the grant?
Which part?
I mean, I don't know, that's what I'm saying, if that, you said they offered to give you something, is that part of the grant?
No,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
just them giving us. The turbines, and generators, they said the stator was supposed to move right now, as of right now, I believe, it was either the 17th or the 27th of February. That would be here. They got the slab poured on the extension. I believe that's it, John. Oh, on the lease, I told you about this, Joe. The community college sent in the thing, they proposed to pay $150,000 a year, flat rate, for electrical. And, you know, I don't know if that's good, I don't know, but Mary, I saw her today, and she's gonna do us, TVA is gonna do us an analysis of the whole building, what the power consumption will be on the whole building. And I can't imagine that not covering half of it.
That's what, 11,000 a month?
Yeah, well, 12.
12,500, yeah.
12,500, yeah. So, and that would save a lot of headache, a lot of metering and all that. Yes. That's all I can. Anything else? I think we need to go back, Gunner, and deal with an administrative issue. But
I got 8 more.
we'll meet back again out here at 5. Regular business.